All right, so if you can see it, there's my flagpole. So that is my Hustler 6B TV trapped vertical. That is outside in the front yard, disguised as a flagpole, albeit it is guide at the top and in the middle, because we get 65-mile-an-hour winds from west to east at this location. So I found out very quickly that that antenna bends quite a bit without any guying on it. But it's performed very well. In the front yard is about 1,000 feet, linear feet of wire in every direction. You'll never be able to find them anymore. Originally, I put in 500 feet of radials, just stapled them to the ground. And then after a year, they just got enveloped into the grass and the dirt. And a year later, I decided, well, let's do another 500. And it took me a very long time to find those radials because I had to go inch by inch and mark them out because you could not see them from the ground at all. So this antenna's performed very well. And that's basically all I have for an antenna out front. That does 10 meters to 80. It's got the super resonator, they call it, up at the top. And I get very narrow bandwidth on 80, but my radio is able to tune most of the 80-meter band. I don't use 80 much. I use 40 and 20 the most. Other than that, it gets out pretty well for what I've done. Let me see if I can fire the webcam up. And let's see if we can switch to that. All right, so this is my Boy Scout backup. I have 3 different versions. I had another webcam, but this is what we're going with for now. So this is my shack. So there is my transfer switch from my RaRa article and my grounding system. It's not a huge grounding system. There is an 8-foot, there's the service panel, so there's a ground right outside the entrance here for the service panel. That's bonded with a 6-gauge wire out to the antenna, and the antenna is also bonded to an 8-foot ground rod. About 7 foot of it actually made it into the ground before I gave up because I hit shale. I do have an antenna switch in case I do have another antenna that currently goes just to a 100-watt dummy load. The system here that I use is Carl Heinz's big brother. That's the Elecraft K3. There's also an LP100A power vector analyzer so that I can see how my signal is actually going out. The K3 I built as a kit. It's just a screw together kit. I've got about 5 different filters in there from CW all the way up through AM. I've also got the K3 pan adapter here. That's actually hooked up to a external monitor so I can actually get a bigger picture of it. Currently we're looking at 40 meters and we're looking at the 13 colonies. Basically I run only barefoot, 100 watts or less. There are a couple CW keys that I'm still trying to figure out how to use those. Eventually I'll get those on the air. My preference for logging is log for OM or log for old man. It's free software. And it works very well for both contesting and just general use. One of the nice things I noticed in version 2, which this is that I can click on the spot for the DX. It'll show me not only my position, but it'll show me line of sight to the operating position and my chance of actually getting over to that operating position. Other than that, it's a pretty simple setup here in the basement. I do have my workbench over on the right-hand side. Just basic stuff. Basically, right now I'm just into more digital with the Arduino and a lot of other microcontrollers. Wake the monitor back up. Other than that, it's a very simple setup, just one radio and one antenna.
So what are the primary modes that you're doing then? Is it largely CW or?
I've been sticking right to phone. I really haven't gotten into the digital modes yet. I know I really should with that Hustler. There's a lot that I can hear that I could probably get out better with a digital mode versus phone, but I've had pretty good luck with phone, made quite a few contacts. I've got a stack of QSLs, worked all 50 states. Took me about a year to get Japan, and as soon as I got one contact on Japan, I made another one the next day. So it's just the luck of the draw, really.
I see your
So,
signal link up there. What do you what digital modes do you enjoy?
I had the Signal Link. Basically, I was going to try FT8 with it. I tried some of the older digital modes and really haven't used much after that. That's actually a modified version of the original. There's some wikis out there on how to clean up the signal out of that. So it hasn't got a lot of use lately, but it's probably going to go back and I'm going to try some of the FT8 modes because Dave has really said that they've worked really well. He's gotten out on digital modes really well, and with the sunspot signal, I'm figuring I should probably try some digital modes at some point.
Thank you.
that was very good. So how long have you been working on this one, Don? I know you've.
So
Where's your weather station stuff?
it's right here actually.
Okay.
So this is both a APRS digipeater and my weather station. The actual weather station is out in the backyard. We have a corner lot with an in-law, so the weather station is on the roof of the in-law, which is about 1.5 stories high. But it gets out pretty well. There's also a camera that shows. Let's see if you can kind of see that. Shows from the looking west, and that just kind of runs on its own. It's actually running. I don't remember if I upgraded that from XP to Windows 7 or not, but it just is a workhorse. It runs and just doesn't stop.
And about how long have you been working to get to where you are today?
So I got first license in 2009. I started out with a Yaesu radio, the same one that the club owns, but it was the first generation of that. I ended up working almost a year overseas in Asia, and my manager at the time decided to say thank you and gave me a nice bonus. So I decided I'm going to buy a real radio, and I'm going to buy the K3. So I bought the K3 and built that up, and I also, at the same time, bought the LP100A. I don't utilize all the functions in the 100A. I'm really using it as a fancy SWR meter, but I figured if I'm going to spend the money, I'm going to spend it once and not have to spend it again.
Okay, I don't see any further questions. Well, thank you very much, Don. That was very good.
Yeah, thank you.